Hey Chargers fans, what's up? It's time to talk about that tough game we just witnessed. We're diving into some calls that really raised eyebrows, and honestly, it felt like the Chargers got a raw deal at times. So grab your snacks and let's break it down. All right, so let's jump right in. That game was a battle for the Chargers, and it was evident that some questionable calls went against them. As someone watching from the sidelines, well, more like the couch, I couldn't help but feel like they were straight up cheated at certain moments. I mean, come on. You watch these replays and think, what the heck is happening here? It's seriously frustrating. So, the Los Angeles Chargers faced off against the Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football and, unfortunately, came up short with a 17-15 loss. But let's focus on the bright side. Herbert threw for a whopping 349 yards and completed nearly 70% of his passes. That's no small feat, especially considering he was playing through an ankle injury earlier in the season. So let's talk about the game itself. It was a hard-fought battle, no doubt, but the Chargers struggled to run the ball effectively. I mean, they only managed about 40 or 50 rushing yards, which is just not enough. Sure, Justin Herbert threw for a bunch of yards. Props to him for that. But when it comes down to winning in the NFL, you need a solid run game. It's like the age-old saying, you've got to be able to run the ball and stop the run. Unfortunately, the Chargers fell short in both areas. They had their chances, but it just didn't pan out for them. As the game wound down, they found themselves in a position to win. But then came the moment that had everyone talking. You remember that flag they picked up, right? I mean, I could kind of understand it. From my outsider perspective, it looked like the receiver ran the wrong route. The ball was sailing over his head, and honestly, it probably shouldn't have even been a penalty. I was thinking, okay, fine, let's move on. Then came the field goal, and I thought, all right, Chargers, here we go. But then Marvin Harrison dropped the ball, and that's when everything got messy. Cam Hart came in, and even in slow motion, you could see he missed the head. It was a clean attempt to play the ball, but the officials didn't see it that way. You know what I'm saying? Intent matters. If I plan to rough up the quarterback but completely miss, should I really get penalized? That's how I feel about this situation. When you break down the play, it's like, come on, guys. Now, let's keep it real. I can't stress this enough. Wow, that call was something else. The player was clearly trying to dislodge the ball, and instead it turned into a 15-yard penalty. And then there's the Derwin James suspension hanging over everyone's heads. Like, what is going on here? Now, I hate it when people say, well, the team didn't do enough to win. No, no, no. I believe the Chargers put themselves in a position to win, and that should have been enough. If that call had been made correctly, who knows what could have happened? Maybe they would have gone down the field and scored. But that 15-yard penalty, it changes the game completely. Fresh set of downs, yeah, that's crucial. One of the key moments came early in the game when Herbert connected with wide receiver Jalen Raegor for a big 41-yard gain that set them up nicely. Unfortunately, Raegor fumbled the ball after a hard hit, resulting in a touchback for the Cardinals, a missed opportunity that really hurt the Chargers. And you know today's kickers? They need barely 20 yards to make it happen. It's crazy. So when you watch the replay, you can't help but feel like something wasn't right. In the moment, I get it. It didn't feel right. But after watching it over and over again as an outsider, it's clear he missed the hit entirely. If he had made helmet-to-helmet contact, then yes, throw that flag. But honestly, I don't want to jump to calling it cheating, but it feels like they had a victory snatched away. And listen, the intent behind these rules is super important. We all want to protect players, right? We shouldn't have guys leading with their helmets and smashing into each other like it's the 80s. That style of play has no place in today's game. You can make a great play without just trying to destroy someone. The rule is pretty simple. No leading with the helmet, we all get that. But I remember when Jim Harbaugh commented on Derwin James' suspension. He made a point that really stuck with me. Your head is literally connected to your shoulders. So when you try to hit someone with your shoulder, your head is going to be in the mix too. What we're trying to get rid of are those nasty, crushing helmet-to-helmet hits, and that's absolutely the right move. The rule is in place to eliminate dangerous plays, and everyone agrees on that. But when you see a call that feels too strict, it's infuriating. Just because a player leads with their helmet doesn't mean they're trying to hurt someone. Sometimes they just miss their target. As an outsider and a long-suffering Lions fan, I know what it's like to feel that frustration. The truth is, you're going to be in these situations more often than you'd like. It really comes down to talent and coaching. If you're a solid team, you're in fewer situations where a bad call can cost you the game. Trust me, I know. I've seen it happen to the Lions far too many times. During that 10-year stretch with Matthew Stafford, it felt like every week there was a brutal call deciding the outcome. It was like a bad movie. You'd be sitting there shaking your head thinking, not again. And the arguments about officiating were nonstop. It felt like a never-ending cycle of frustration, and I'm sure Chargers fans can relate. The Chargers really need to step up their game and build a better roster. The more they can dominate and get ahead, the less they'll have to worry about these questionable calls. But no matter how much they improve, it doesn't erase the past. I've made this argument so many times with the Lions. Sometimes you just have to deal with the situation as it is. Now, it's tough when you're fighting so hard in a game. Sure, I wish the Chargers could have put up 40 points and won in a blowout, but that's not how NFL football works. It's disheartening to feel like you've been cheated out of a win. It really is. I didn't mean to ramble on like that. But here's something interesting. The officials actually released a statement about what went down. Someone asked them why they threw the flag, and they provided an explanation. I think that's super important. So let me pull it up for you. According to Daniel Popper from The Athletic, the NFL officials said they deemed the pass interference to be uncatchable. They also mentioned that the middle official saw the player leading with his helmet, which led to the unnecessary roughness call. It's like, come on, he didn't even hit him. I really can't stand it when games end because of bad calls. But at the end of the day, we all know the Chargers need to be able to run the ball effectively. When they can, they're tough to beat. But when they can't, like only racking up 40 yards rushing, they're in a tough spot. Just look at Arizona. James Conner rushed for over 100 yards against them. It's wild. In the NFL, as much as the game evolves, you still have to be able to run the ball and stop the run. It's a fundamental part of the game, and the team that can do that often comes out on top. So here's the deal. In the NFL, the team that runs the ball more efficiently usually wins, especially when the score ends up looking like 59-18. I want to hear your thoughts on this, so drop your comments below. Now, looking ahead, the Chargers have a great shot at turning things around. We've gone through their schedule a million times, and they've got 4 more games coming up that are pretty manageable. If they can win 3 out of those 5, they'll be in a fantastic position. So yeah, it's all still within reach. Now, with the loss, the Chargers sit at 3. 3 on the season, currently in 3rd place in the AFC West. But with Herbert's health improving and the potential to bounce back, there's still plenty of hope for the rest of the season. So, while the game didn't end the way we wanted, the silver lining is that Justin Herbert is on the mend and looking more like his old self. Let's keep our fingers crossed as we head into the next matchup. Catch you all next time. I really want to know what you all think about this game and the calls that went down. Let me know in the comments below. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for hanging out with me today, Chargers fans. Stay tuned for more updates, and as always, keep cheering for your team. Bye for now.